Hi, this is Teresa Momber, and here's a look at the card I'll show you how to create in today's video using images from my latest stamp set from Gina K Designs called Daisy Delight. Trim white cardstock to 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 inches, and then begin sponging using Gina K Lovely Lavender ink. Switch to Gina K Wild Lilac ink and continue sponging, starting at the opposite side of the cardstock and then blending into the lighter color. To do the shadow stamping, we'll start by creating the shadows, inking up the image using Gina K Edible Eggplant ink and then stamping onto the background. And you can see I've got a bit of an ink blob there on my cardstock, but that's okay. Since we're doing the shadow stamping, I'll just go right over that later. Then stamp the image a second time, once again stamping off onto scratch paper to make the image lighter. Now ink the image up again, this time using Gina K Black Onyx ink, and then stamp it over the original image you stamped, but offset just slightly. And then stamp the image a second time over the second shadow. And as you can see, where I had that ink blob, it's barely noticeable at all, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Now, since the butterfly image in the Daisy Delight stamp set is just a profile, and I want to do a full butterfly for this card, I'm going to use my mirror image stamp. So I'm stamping the butterfly onto the mirror image stamp using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and then I'm going to press my cardstock down onto the stamp. And when I lift it away, the image will be the reverse of what the stamp is. Then I can stamp the other half of the butterfly directly using, again, Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Now, if you don't have a reverse image stamp, that's okay. You can try this technique using a piece of acetate. It won't be quite as crisp and clear of an image, but it'll still work. Or you can use scraps from, if you have any red rubber cling stamps that still need to be cut out sitting somewhere, that'll work too. Or you can always find them at your local craft store. Then I'll stamp the image 2 more times, just the profile this time, so I'll have a total of 3 butterflies for my card. To color the butterflies, I'm starting with Copic marker YR07 and using that closest to the body of the butterfly where I want the deepest shading. Then switching to Copic marker YR04 and blending out from there. And finally, I'm filling in using Copic marker Y17. Next, use scissors to cut out the butterflies. And I'm just cutting the antenna off because I don't like to try to cut around antenna, and I'll draw those in later. Next, determine approximately where you'd like your butterflies to be placed onto your background, and then use craft glue or another adhesive to adhere them to the background. Now use a fine-tipped marker to draw the antenna. Just draw little lines out from the head of the butterflies and then add a little dot on the end of the line. Stamp the happy birthday sentiment onto a narrow strip of white cardstock using Gina K black Onyx ink. Prepare a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch white card base. And for a more elegant look, go ahead and use a die cut template with an embossing mat and your die cut machine to create a raised frame on the card base. But if you don't want to do that, the card will look fantastic without it. Then adhere your image layer to a piece of black cardstock that's trimmed slightly larger, and then adhere both pieces to your card base. And finally, adhere your sentiment layer to the card using adhesive 3D foam squares. And that completes today's video. Thanks for watching.